Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm out here in the garage just actually cleaning up and oiling and getting ready to put back in the safe one of my favorite AR-15s that I really enjoy shooting. You know, I have a pretty good collection, but sometimes the guns that I find are the most enjoyable to shoot, or the ones that I like to take to the range the most, are not always the guns that are the most valuable, or I guess interesting historically, or collectible. Sometimes you just either have an oddball gun, maybe it's a gun that's kind of cheap, other people kind of foo-foo, maybe it's one that you just kind of put together that just runs well for you, and that's what this gun is. It's one of my favorites to always take to the range, and when I'm in the mood to shoot a 20-inch barreled AR-15, this is the one I like the most. And this is kind of an oddball. For the most part, it's a Bushmaster. It's a Bushmaster lower receiver. The lower receiver is pretty much like in a standard A2 configuration. I do use the K&S non-rotating pin set, which I do need to make another video on because some people hate these. Some people like them and some people don't care. I'm actually a huge fan of them, and I have read all of the dissenters of them, and I disagree with a lot of the points they make because they don't really understand what they do, and the myths that are associated with them I think I can debunk. But that's a video for another day whenever I get some more time. But the upper receiver, the actual receiver itself, this is an A2 upper. It's also a Bushmaster. And the barrel is from Brownells. It's one of their, just, I guess, mil-spec barrels that they make. A 1-in-7 twist, 20-inch barrel. It's obviously a rifle-length gas system. And the handguard I have on this, while it may look like a Knight's Armament, it's actually a P&S Products, which is a company that kind of underbid Knight's when it came to their own products. And they're one of the suppliers of these rails, the M5 rail, to the U.S. military. And I picked this up pretty cheap. And so it's kind of weird because normally you see these on M16A4s, but this is obviously an M16A2 style rifle. It has the government barrel, P&S Products vertical foregrip, but it's a Bushmaster. And this thing just honestly works well. It's just a lot of fun to shoot. It's kind of a mix between an A2 and A4. Not really the most valuable AR-15 out there. It just runs well. It's a lot of fun to shoot. And anyway, I just have it out here because I recently took it to the range just to have some fun with it, cleaned it up, and get ready to put it back in the safe. But anyway, I wanted to come to you guys tonight, not necessarily talking about Larry Vickers, because I know I've made 2 videos in the recent past about him and what's going on. And I'm going to put a link in the description below and probably as a pinned comment for you guys to go check out if you want to know more information about it. I think the article at the Truth About Guns is a good resource to go find out what in the heck actually happened. Actually, I think I'll just put it as a pinned comment because sometimes links in the descriptions are kind of weird when it comes to YouTube. So I'll just put it as a pinned comment. But go over there, check out what I guess happened and the information regarding it. Because some people said I got some wrong information, that I was not separating the information regarding the aspects of him importing guns from sanctioned countries and then the other stuff when it comes to him as an SOT and all that. So you guys can go get that information. But it does appear that he did something wrong. Like, he admitted guilt. I mean, he did admit guilt. I mean, he pled guilty, which means in the eyes of the law, he did do something wrong. Whether or not you think he did or not, he decided to plead guilty. Other people are indicted on this. And it's really honestly kind of a small world because one of the people, and I didn't even know because I was reading that article that I linked in the comment section, that one of the people that was indicted was somebody that I have personally interacted with. It's somebody that worked for, I don't know if they still do, B&T. I kind of thought they were like a high-up executive at like B&T USA. I had email correspondence with them in the past about different B&T products, things that might be coming to market soon, and also kind of be one of my intermediaries between me and, like in the past, trying to, because I'm part of the B&T, was it Friends of B&T program or whatever, trying to, get something, accessories or whatever. And so he had kind of helped me with that. And then I find out that he is indicted as well. And he's in trouble for like importing guns. I guess from sanctioned countries or guns that aren't supposed to be imported. I don't know what it is. But you guys that are SOTs can tell me. But what I really want to talk about more than that is something that has been a theme that I have talked about a number of times on my channel, and something that I recommend to all of you. And it's advice that I try to follow. And that advice is, don't have YouTube gun heroes. Just try not to have heroes in general. They say that one of the worst things you can do is meet your heroes, because you'll always be disappointed. You'll always be disappointed because you'll discover that the people that you think are these heroes are actually just normal people. They're influenced by the same things that influence you. They have the same personality traits and faults and strengths and, issues that we all do. We all fight our own personal battles. We all have things that we have to deal with in our personal lives or professional lives or whatever. And these people are just normal people. And I've mentioned many times on my channel that one of the issues I get being a small channel is anytime I have a contrary opinion to somebody else, it could even be a channel that I don't watch or am completely unaware of, but they might be a big channel. I'll get people that get mad at me and say, you need to go watch this channel. This is the definitive answer on this. Like, okay, totally cool. That I'm glad that they like that gun or whatever it is. But I don't, and that's okay. Like recently in my range report of, what was it? I think it was like the Ruger LCP, the LCP Max. Somebody had mentioned in a comment that, pretty much saying that I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm an idiot, because I guess in that video I talk about how small the grip is and I don't like it. It's just too small for me in my hands. But I said in the video, if you have smaller hands or you like the way it feels, good. I'm just telling you what I experienced, and you are free to disagree. You're free to like it, even though I don't. But they told me pretty much, they didn't call me a name, but pretty much saying I'm an idiot in a nice way, because this other channel that has a really big following absolutely loves it and says this is the definitive grip for a small ultra compact gun. Oh, okay, I'm fine with that opinion. I'm not upset with them at all. They have that opinion, but just because they said it doesn't mean it's true universally. I see this a lot in my professional life as a musician. One of the things I absolutely don't like to do, and you guys might know I'm a professional trombone player. Yes, I'm a total geek. Yeah, I have my doctorate in music performance. It's what I do for a living. And one of the things that I absolutely hate doing, I don't know, is go to music conventions, and more specifically conventions that deal with my instrument. I absolutely hate it, because I go there and I'm surrounded by a bunch of know-it-alls. And I'm not saying that, I am the greatest or know everything or any of that, but I just find that there's so much hero worship in the professional music world. I find that if you have a contrary opinion or do something different than someone that is really famous or big in the particular industry or career path that you're in, you just get so much hate. And it's just like, I don't like this at all. I don't like this. There's nothing wrong with being different or doing things a different way if it works for you. And I kind of see now that I have learned what happened with Larry Vickers, I am starting to take the side and believe that while I don't think he hurt anybody, I kind of feel like this was a victimless crime, and I do disagree with the laws that he was accused of and admitted to breaking. Even though I'm not a fan of any of that, I do see that he probably got a little bit complacent in his life, in that he thought he was a bigger deal than what he actually was, that he was different than you or I, that he was special. Because everywhere he goes in the gun world, he's treated like royalty, right? Come on, when Larry Vickers goes to a gun show or a convention or whatever, he is treated like royalty because of his service, his knowledge and training, his work with so many companies like HK and the development of the HK416. I mean, he is a legend in that way. And so he's treated like royalty, and I think things just probably got to his head, and he thought, either he wouldn't get caught or this or that, okay? But he did get caught, okay? So he is guilty to a certain standpoint. I don't think he should serve jail time or any of that, but the laws that are on the books, he broke and admitted to breaking. And it's because I think he got a little bit too big for his britches. Yeah. And I think everybody's guilty of that. And when you guys see these big YouTubers, okay, and I'm pretty much just going to stick to like the gun world right now. But when you see these big YouTubers, and I guess this can also go for celebrities or whatever it is in your career field or other interests and hobbies you may have, I think people let stuff get to their head. Like for example, okay, I'll bring up a story I heard about Anthony, the arms scholar. Okay, I was talking to somebody recently that has actually met him. You guys know he's one of those legal YouTubers that just, for whatever reason, he just bothers me. He's just something about him that bothers me. It's all the clickbaity titles, all the clickbaity thumbnails. It's the programmatic way that he does things. It's something about it just rubs me the wrong way. I don't hate the guy personally. I'm sure he's a great guy. Okay, but just something about it, because even though I know his channel is clickbait, occasionally I'll see a video or a thumbnail or a title and I will click on it, and then I'm like, oh my God, why did I do? It's clickbait again. I don't know why. It gets me all the time and it frustrates me. But anyway, somebody was telling me recently they actually met him. I guess they were at some convention. I don't know if it was Las Vegas for SHOT Show, or it was something out in California. I forgot what it was. But they said that they actually met him, and they said, in all honesty, the guy was kind of excuse my language, the guy was kind of a douchebag, in that he acted like he was so much better than everybody else. Because he would constantly drop the fact that he's like, well, I'm a big time YouTuber. I have this, like he just wouldn't shut up about it, essentially. Like if anybody, didn't know him, he made sure to let them know. I don't know. I understand. It's his life. It's his career. One of the things about YouTube that I also kind of warn people about is be careful of people that make a living doing this, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong. Would it be sweet if the Texas Gun Vault got big enough that I could do this, kind of full time? Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. But I can't, and I don't. I'm a musician. I kind of lose money doing the Texas Gun Vault. But I feel like, and of course people do need to make money. I'm not saying they shouldn't make a living. I'm glad that they do. But you just got to take all that stuff with a grain of salt and understand that people play characters online. I try to be as genuine as I possibly can here on this channel. Hopefully people that have met me think that, this is the genuine me. Things that are different in real life probably is a much more introverted. I don't talk about... I don't talk about the YouTube channel really too much in person unless you ask me about it. I don't try to name drop or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty quiet about it. I just try to listen and absorb and learn information from other people. But everybody has a character. I mean, Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, while I think it's predominantly me, there is a certain character aspect about it, especially on the main channel. But everybody has that, from Paul Harrell to Tim from the Military Arms Channel to Rob from the AK-47-74 Operators Union to Chad and Eric from Iraqi Veteran 8888, Hickok 45. All those people are characters. And yes, what they do and the way that they present themselves might be a close representation of who they are, but they're all characters. And because these people come into your house, your phone, your television, or however you watch YouTube all the time, you begin to think that you have some type of familial relationship with them, like you know them, like you're part of this journey that they're going on. And that's really honestly the magic of all this, because I do feel like some of you guys go on this journey with me, or I'm kind of documenting my journey in this, and I want to share that, and I want you guys to go along. But in reality, most of you guys have never met me in person. You don't know me. Doesn't mean that we wouldn't get along or wouldn't be friends or any of that. It's just that some of you think you know me, and we feel, and I'm that way with other YouTubers. There's certain people that I follow. One of the people that I enjoy listening to the commentary every day politically is Tim Pool. I just like his stance on things. I don't always agree, but I like how he presents things. He presents all sides of the argument. One of my absolute dreams would be to have like a big firearms channel and to be asked to be on his nightly podcast. To me, that would be like the ultimate goal, because I think that what they do is so cool. I just think it's neat. But I like to think that I know how he thinks and how he is, but I really don't. But I don't know. Just don't have GunTube heroes, because right now people are out there in the GunTubeverse defending Larry Vickers. They're like, the ATF's going after him because of this and that, and they're trying to shut down this. It's like, actually, if you go and look at the story and like read the story and what happened and what transpired, you're like, oh, okay. Actually, while it was a victimless crime, he knew what the law was. He understood the ramifications, because there's no way he was an FFL SOT and not knowing what he was doing when it came to all these different things. There's no way he didn't know and understand. He rolled the dice and he lost. In that way, it's different than I think Matt Hoover, because I don't think Matt Hoover truly understood and comprehended what he was doing, and that got him into trouble. I really think that what Larry Vickers did, he knew what he was doing. He's a very smart man, very smart. I mean, I heard a story that, after they raided him, and about the time that they raided him, I guess a couple years ago, when his license lapsed, and he was now a consultant for like this Russian company, Kalishnikov concern. It's my understanding that the State Department was concerned because he was getting information. He was going to be a Russian asset, essentially, not meaning a spy, but someone in the United States in the arms industry that might be transferring information. But also, magically, he bought like a $200,000 Porsche 911 Turbo, and he got a bunch of Rolexes. So all of a sudden, that kind of happened. Now, as I said, I don't know what that means, and come on. The guy is probably pretty wealthy because he's done so much. He has successful businesses. Who knows? Maybe he bought it all legitimately. I don't know, and I think a Porsche 911 Turbo is pretty darn sweet, I've always wanted a Rolex. I hope one day I actually can. I don't really care about jewelry or anything status symbol wise. Come on. I wear these shirts that I bought like 10 years ago at Walmart. It's what I have. I don't care about fashion. Always wanted a Rolex. One day I may have one. But I'm not passing judgment. Maybe everything was legitimate. But things sure look suspicious, shall we say. But you guys can decide for yourself. But to me, it just reminds me, don't have GunTube heroes. Just don't have them, and realize that everybody that you watch is a regular human being like yourself. Like with Paul Harrell, for example, he was talking about his situation when it came to his illness, and his diagnosis, that the reason he was making the video and announcing it, because he did not want to announce that he had the illness, is that I guess we're just going to say, because he openly admitted that it was, I guess, a person that he was once in a relationship with, a woman that's had access, probably like an ex-wife or something, and had access to all of his own personal information and was on this vendetta against him, was just kind of spilling the beans and going after him in all these different ways. So he had to get on top of that and get that information out. So if it wasn't for that, you never would have known the battles that he was fighting, not just from a health standpoint, but also a personal standpoint. He's just a regular human being, and people love what he does and love what he says, love his presentation style. The guy is kind of a legend, right? But on the other hand, he's a human being, just like everybody else out there. So whenever you watch anybody in the GunTubeverse and they say something about a gun, or say something about how to use a gun or give you advice, I think you should listen. But you should always take it with a grain of salt and ask yourself, is this information relevant to me? Who is the intended audience of this information? And why is this person giving me that information? Because just because something works well for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work well for you. Going back to that Ruger LCP Max that I was talking about. Okay? I get a lot of comments on that range report that gun works well for other people. And I tell them in the comments that I think that's wonderful. I'm so glad that this is the perfect tool for you. If you feel comfortable with it, you shoot it well, it's reliable for you, then that is the gun for you. And I'm very happy it works out for you. And I'm so glad that gun is available for you. I did not enjoy it, but that doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it. I just share my own experiences. So for example, one of the things that you guys might not notice about all of my product reviews and gun reviews and range reports on my main channel is that the last sentence of my description always says something to this effect. I always say, this video documents my personal thoughts, experiences, and opinions with this firearm or product or whatever it is. Yours may vary. I never tell you this is the definitive answer when it comes to this gun, or this is the definitive way to shoot this gun, or this is the definitive thing. I never say that. I always tell you what I like and I don't like, and I try to explain why I like it or don't like it. And because we're all individuals, sometimes the things that I'm going to like, you're going to go, that's the most stupid accessory. For example, my good friend Andrew, who's from Australia, he comments on like all of my videos. He always jokes about these vertical foregrips. He calls them girly grips, okay? He just feels like rifles need to be held in the more traditional way. And he calls, as I said, those vertical foregrips girly grips. However, I have talked about how I like vertical foregrips for two main reasons. Politically, anti-gunners don't want me to have them, and I think they look cool. That's number one. But number two, I have rheumatoid arthritis. And sometimes when I'm having a rheumatoid arthritis attack, holding a firearm this way actually hurts my wrist in a way that makes shooting the gun uncomfortable. But the vertical foregrip allows me to have more of a natural angle, and I can shoot guns better that way. So it serves a purpose. But him and I can joke about it. But he doesn't like it. I do like it. But I tell you why I like the vertical foregrip. And he can tell me why he doesn't like the vertical foregrip. And neither of us are right and neither of us are wrong. We're only right from our own perspective. And so when it comes to Larry Vickers, don't have a GunTube hero. He's a great guy. I mean, he's a legend. He served his country. He was in special forces. But looking into this, and I've seen some people write about how he got complacent. He got a little bit too big for his britches. There's been other issues when it comes to importing guns where either he wasn't supposed to import guns, or when certain guns came into the country, he worked with other big people like Tim from the Military Arms Channel to get all these guns that were actually supposed to go out to the public, ended up all going to him, and then they sold them for this huge markup. So I've heard all these issues. They're all trying to make a living. They're all in cahoots together. And they make money doing this full time. And that's okay. It's just put everything in perspective. Have everything in perspective. So whatever I say, understand it's my personal thoughts, experiences, and opinions. Yours may vary. Yours may vary. And I think that's a good philosophy to have when it comes to every other YouTuber. Just because somebody says this is the latest, greatest gun, understand they might be getting that gun for free and being paid to do a review. There's nothing wrong with that. Just understand what that review might be about. Just like a few months ago when the Springfield Echelon came out, right? We don't hear much about the Echelon anymore, do we? But when it came out, it was the latest, greatest gun. All the YouTubers reviewed it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But lo and behold, it's just out there now, I guess, but no one really talks about it. So it's just that, just put everything in perspective. Understand that everybody that you see is a character. Someone is playing a character. You know, Right now, I'm kind of playing a character. The character that I'm playing, Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, is somebody that wants to be the guy that is at your work, that you hang around the water cooler and talk guns. That's the character of Jason at the Texas Gun Vault. But in real life, I could spend hours out here by myself and not see anybody. I am that introverted. The only person that I really get lonely not seeing is my wife. Anybody else? Whatever. I mean, I could spend days without seeing another human being. Before I got married, and I had like a week off from work, I was single, I might not see another human being with the exception of going out to get food for an entire week. And I was totally fine, content, and happy. But yeah, so the character of Jason is a little bit more extroverted than the real life Jason. And every YouTuber is like that. So don't have YouTube gun heroes. So man, was this a rambly video. So I'll probably put this as a Texas Gun Vault Garage Ramblings. But anyway, I guess going back to what I originally opened the video with, do you guys have any guns that might not be valuable, might be kind of odd, or just kind of weird guns of your collection, or something that you just kind of threw together that are just the guns that you love to shoot? Because this is my favorite 20-inch barreled AR-15. And I got a bunch of others. But for some reason, this one is the one I enjoy the most. And I have like no other real reason, but it just shoots well. I enjoy it. And I built it. So maybe it is a little bit sentimental and nostalgic from that perspective. And of course, what do you guys think about my whole rant on not having YouTube gun heroes? I talked about that in my top 5 things to take away, or how to improve your YouTube gun watching experience. It's an old video on my channel. So anyway, share your thoughts, opinions, and experiences with all of this. Remember, we are free to disagree and we can still be friends, right? I like all of you. You guys are all great people, even if we don't see eye to eye on every firearm. But that's what makes the gun world work, right? It's awesome. It's awesome. So, I guess that's all I have to say. So if you made it to the end of today's video, do me a favor, because I like doing this. I'm always curious who watches to the end, because this is 27 minutes long. Say the word, I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm thinking Bushmaster. Let's say vertical foregrip. No, okay, I'm sorry. That's too much. Just say Bushmaster. Just say Bushmaster. And I know you watch to the end, because I'm always curious who likes to torture themselves and listen to me talk for this long, because you have a high tolerance of pain. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.